I get the phone call when the child is going to commit suicide, and I got to do something right now. Because I believe that the invisible force of internal drive activated is the most important thing in the world. I'm here because I believe emotion is the force of life. All of us here have great minds. Most of us here have great minds, right? I don't know if I'm in the category, but we all know how to think. And with our minds, we can rationalize anything, we can make anything happen. We can, I agree with what was described a few days ago about this idea that people work in their self-interest, but we all know that that's bullshit at times. You don't work in your self-interest all the time. Because when emotion comes into it, in the last 5 or 10 years, 15 years, how many of some decisions you've made that if you made a different decision, your life would be completely different? You say, what are all the reasons they have a problem? We said that, next one please. And emotion then creates what we're going to do, or the action. Because when emotion comes into it, the wiring changes in the way it functions. And so it's wonderful for us to think intellectually about how the life of the world is, and especially those who are very smart. We can play this game in our head, but I really want to know what's driving you. And what I'd like to maybe invite you to do by the end of this talk is explore where you are today for 2 reasons. One, so that you can contribute more. But what people in this room know, and what we have to remind ourselves though, because you can know something intellectually, you can know what to do and then not use it, not apply it. Because science is easy, right? We know the rules, you write the code, you follow those, and you get the result. Once you know the game, you just, you up the ante, don't you? If decisions shape destiny, what determines it is 3 decisions. What are you gonna focus on? What is it that shapes us? And we live in a therapy culture. Most of us don't do that, but the culture is a therapy culture. And what I mean by that is the mindset that we are our past. Is God punishing me or rewarding me, or is this the roll of the dice? What makes a difference in their performance? Because that's what I got hired to do. I got to produce the result now. That's what I've done for 30 years. She didn't just affect her life. That decision shaped our culture. So I've had an obsession basically for 30 years. I don't know if I'm in the category, but we all know how to think. And with our minds, we can rationalize anything. We can make anything happen. We can, I agree with what was described a few days ago about this idea that people work in their self-interest, but we all know that that's bullshit at times. The reason is an understanding of these human needs that we're talking to do something beyond themselves. Those people that you've given everything to, like all the resources they say they need. You gave them not a $100 computer, you gave them the best computer. You gave them love, you gave them joy, you were there to comfort them. But that is not the defining factor. They are a claim to you missing resources. So the question we gotta ask ourselves really is, there were emotions that blocked people's ability to get this man's intellect and capacity, and the reason is it's about appreciation and it's about contribution. So I had an interesting laboratory to try to answer the question of the real question, which is, what's the difference in somebody's life if you look at somebody like those people that you've given everything to? And everybody in this room, you wouldn't be in this room if you bought that theory, but most of society thinks biography is destiny. Right now, you have to decide what you're going to focus on. In this second, consciously or unconsciously, the minute you decide to focus on something, you got to give it a meaning, right? The story people tell us is a bunch of different stories. They tell us we don't have the resources, but ultimately, if you take a look here, flip it up if you would. Have you failed to achieve something? How many have ever failed to achieve something significant in your life? Say, I. But if you ask people, why didn't you achieve something? Somebody who's working for you, or a partner, or even yourself. You failed to achieve a goal. What's the reason people say they failed to achieve? What do they tell you? Or being in a position like Lance Armstrong, and someone says to you, he goes off and wins 7 championships he never won once before the cancer because he got emotional fitness. So, what shaped Lance? What shapes you? What shapes they made that decision versus to build their own culture? How would the world be different? How would their lives be different? Their impact. And after a while, patterns become obvious, different than most people. What did it mean? It wasn't the end, it was the beginning. What am I going to do? We all have had times. Have you had a time you did something and after you did it, you thought, didn't know enough, didn't have the knowledge, didn't have the money, didn't have the time, didn't have the technology, I didn't have the right manager. First, what's your target? What are you after? Which I believe, it's not your desires. You can get your desires to goals, believe you would have beat his ass and won. But how easy for me to tell him what he should do. Now how do you get it? Control everybody, develop a skill, give up, smoke a cigarette? That's what's shaping us. Get a fucking life. While you're doing it, you're certain it's good because you read it before, saw it before, but you're hoping it's been long enough you've forgotten that there's more. Get a fucking life. We all need to feel important, special. You get more money, more secure by getting certain mind you're going to respond to me. 10. But uncertainty, whatever it takes. The fastest way to do this, if you have no background, no culture, no belief in resources or resourcefulness, is violence. How much uncertainty? Who knows what's going to happen next? Kind of exciting. Like climbing up into a cave and doing that stuff all the way down there. Total variety and uncertainty. And it's significant, isn't it? As a species. Now, you can get significance a million ways, but to be significant, you got to be unique and different. And you're going to get hurt again. Aren't you glad you came to this positive visit? But here's what's true. We need it. We can do it through intimacy, through friendship, through prayer, through walking in nature. If nothing else works for you, get a dog. Don't get a cat, get a dog. Because if you leave for 2 minutes, it's like you've been gone for 6 months when you show back up again 5 minutes later, right? Second, but this is what changed my life. This is what shaped me as a human being. Somebody's gift. I don't even know who it is. Don't want to get hurt. Who here has ever been hurt in an intimate relationship? Say aye. If you don't raise your hand, you'll have other shit too. Come on. We all want it. Most people settle for connection because love's too scary. The time one of the most painful experiences of life. We all know life's not about me, it's about we. This culture knows that. This room knows that. But the last two needs, the first 4 needs are called the needs of the personality, is what I call them. But my father always said, no one gives a shit. Even if you lie to yourself, even if you have split personality. It's beautiful. And that's how we can touch other people. In my own life, but the 6th need is to contribute beyond ourselves. And what that means is that strangers care about me and my family. I care about them. But he's got a calling now. The second piece is the map. That's exciting. When you see Nicholas up here talking about his $100 computer, the most passionate, exciting thing is he's a genius. Are you driven by significance or love? We all need all 6, but whatever your lead system is tilts you in a different direction. Thanksgiving, no money, no food. I'm gonna save lives even if I die for other people. And there are firemen, somebody else says I'm gonna kill people to do it. So when I was 17, I went out one day on Thanksgiving. It was my target for years. Think of that as the operating system tells you how to get there. Some people's map is I'm gonna save lives even if I die for other people. And there are firemen, somebody else says I'm gonna kill people to do it. Now here's what I'll tell you about emotion. You use this thing and you don't get there. Your beliefs guarantee you never get to where you want to go. Some people might be the wrong time. When I finished that night, she called him and left a message, true story, at the top of the World Trade Center where he worked, saying, honey, I love you. I just want you to know, I want to marry you. It was stupid of me. She was asleep because it was 3 a.m. for us when he called her back from the top and said, honey, I can't tell you what this means. He said, I don't know how to tell you this, but you give me the greatest gift because I'm going to die.